Hey guys, it's Friday. Stumpy and I are headed over there. Going to get started on processing this pig, and I hope to get some good instructional videos for you and show you how that process is done by the master butcher here. So
I am not a butcher. I am a meat processor. There is a difference in somebody that just whacks it up and somebody that knows how to surgically separate everything.
So what you're saying is you know how to surgically separate everything.
Yeah, it's pretty simple.
We're going to show you how it's done.
Doing it all my life.
Yeah.
And I really believe the day and time we need in, people need the knowledge, you know, of breaking down animals where they can eat them. People need the knowledge of gardening again, you know, and I just want to share that with people. Like I said, I feel like a lot of these things, gardening, homesteading, home butchering, or processing, all those things are, you know, something that 100 years ago every man's son or sons, everybody knew how to do it. Of course, it was in order to survive.
Right.
And the way things are looking,
we might need those practices.
Those skills could be very valuable.
That's right.
Once again, and so I just want to share it with people. And all right, guys, down here at the processing place, a friend of mine is kind enough to loan me his place, and we got a half a pig here,
and you don't have to have a meat processing place to do this.
No, you can do it on your kitchen counter. But anyway, this is a little bit of leaf fat that was laying right here. I pulled it off before she started the camera, but it was laying right there just like that, and I took the knife and just pulled it right up like that. Of course, we're going to be saving our fat because we're going to cook it down, make some grease. Alright, a pig, cow, anything. Very simple. Of course, this pig is cut in half. And so, you can go about it several different ways, but this is just I'm going to just do a basic breakdown of this half a hog. Now, this is the front shoulder. In other words, the hog's head is right here. This is the front shoulder. And the shoulder is made up of the picnic ham, which comes down to his hock, here to here. And this part right here will be your Boston butt.
Oh. See, I'm going to learn too.
And then, if you come, I'm going to just lightly guess that, right along there, from right here, to right here, and down like that, that is your loin, your pork loin, your pork chops, Boston butt, fresh picnic ham, your ribs will be right here. I'll show you them in just a second.
Jay showed them the bacon the other day.
Right.
That's the bacon right there.
Yep. And what I'm going to do first is I'm going to take the front leg off. And so you can do that ever how you like. If you like a bigger Boston butt, you count down more ribs. You can see his ribs right here. You know, usually they break it between the second and third. Some people break between the third and fourth, way down here. But I'm on as much as my pork loin as I can get. So I'm gonna go, I think, if I'm looking right,
I'm going to come behind you.
I'm gonna break it between the second and third rib. And so what I'm gonna do here is cut up, make a cut, lay your knife down. I'll take that off in just a minute. And then I'm gonna come back here, I'm gonna take the ham or the hind leg off first. It'll be easier. Here's the pig's tail. I mean, if it was still connected, it would come right out here and wiggle. You know, but you can see the angle of the tailbone right here. This is bone right here. You see this angle? That's really the angle you want to cut. Now, before I cut into that any further, I'm going to go ahead and pull my tenderloin, which is the inside muscle. If you were cutting this muscle off of a cow, it's called a filet mignon. But it's the tenderloin because it's the tenderest muscle on most any animal, cow, hog, whatever. And the reason that is the kidney muscle. And the kidney muscle is the least used muscle on any animal. You know, he just uses that muscle, helps him urinate. And so there's your pork tenderloin. This is a small hog. I'll lay it right over there. All right, I'm just making me up. Remember, I'm going with the angle of the tailbone, right down, cut through it. See my little handsaw I had right here.
So you have to cut through the hip, or is it the pelvis?
This is the pelvis. See, I heard a change in sound. That means I cut all the way through the bone. And I'm just taking this off.
Look at that meat, honey. Look at the fat. That is marbled, beautiful meat.
It is very pretty.
Goodness gracious.
Remember, this is a Mangalitsa cross with a Berkshire.
Berkshire.
And so I was trying, you know, most meat hogs are too lean nowadays, in my opinion. We wanted the grease for the lard. And so, but anyway, I got the ham off, as you can see right there. And we'll come back, getting back to the pig over here. So I've taken the hind leg off. Right here's some more leaf lard, but it's got like a lining on it. And I usually take that lining off. I'm going to trim this fat off because I want to cook it out to make lard or grease with. Put it right there. I'm going to throw the lining away. Alright. And I'm just kind of squaring this up right here. You know, basically taking all the fat off of it. Nothing wrong with fat in your ground pork, but you know, great. Anyway, this is part of the belly, and back to the Boston butt and the front leg. Remember now, I made a cut between the second, I think it's the second, third rib.
Yep.
Just take your little handsaw. You can get one of these. Order them online. Or have a restaurant supply place in your town. A lot of times they carry them. They're not very expensive. I'm going to say less than $100. Maybe that's expensive to you, but if you consider how many thousands of dollars you're going to save by processing your own meat, it's a very good investment. You can take a knife, a handsaw, and even use a hand grinder, although most people have purchased them, people that process their own stuff. most of those people have purchased themselves an electric grinder. They even make a grinder that you can add, works on your kitchen area. Now right here, I'll hit that just right, that shoulder blade. I was able to cut right through it.
Look at the fat, man.
This is a lard hog crossed with a meat hog. And you have to remember, my goal was to get more fat necessarily than meat. But, you know, we'll see in a minute. And I think all I'm going to do with this shoulder is just, my son done the processing. And, or that way you can see, let me think. I'm just taking out some of the yucky stuff, windpipe, and the stuff he left on there that he could have taken off if he wanted to. And so anyway, I'm just cleaning this up real good. Like I say, I'm going to trim a lot of this fat off. We plan on smoking. Call it, this is a whole shoulder, and like I said, the whole shoulder is made up of the Boston butt and the fresh picnic ham. The butt don't come off the butt, it comes off the front leg. Alright, that leaves you with your loin and your bacon, or your side. What I'm going to do right here, take my knife, right where the ribs in, come here, and I'm cutting straight up to the front of that shoulder blade. And right here is your spare ribs. You'll see them in just a minute. What I'm going to do though, is I'm going to take my knife, try to work around, and I'm going to just peel this meat and fat off these ribs. Now I'll show you in just a second. This meat and fat that I'm cutting off these spare ribs.
You're just rolling it back.
Yep, I'm just taking my knife and feeling that bone and just staying right on top of the bone until you get down past the rib cage. Right, and right here what you have is called a fresh side. I'm just trim some of this off where you can see, but this is your side of bacon.
Look at that bacon.
And
can we smoke some in the smoker too tomorrow?
it's gonna have to cure for a couple of days in the salt.
Oh man, that's right.
But I'm gonna just cut it.
Look at that.
Now, what I'll do, I like to take it like this right here and quarter it. What I'll do now is I'll take this and salt it, put it in a Ziploc bag, and put it in the refrigerator. And that's the side of bacon, but you can see it's pretty good. This front shoulder. All I'm gonna do right now, come back and trim this fat off of it, or trim it down some. Remember, one of my whole purposes of having a lard hog crossed with a meat hog is this fat. You say, well, Garrett, why do you want the fat? We cook it down, make lard out of it to make grease. Now, I'm going to do one more thing. No, I don't think I am. I was going to pull the neck bones off this, but I think I'll take a lot of meat as I take the neck bones off. And so I think I'm going to just leave this piece whole. Like I said, this is the front leg of a pig. And so all this beautiful, nice fat. And I don't know how much you know about omega-3s, but the omega-3s, the healthy
Fats.
cholesterol that this fat produces is great for your brain. And I believe I'm telling it.
Yes.
And so, but this is just a beautiful, beautiful piece of meat. We're going to cook the 2 front legs down and make barbecue out of it. So, only other thing left to do is cut the spare ribs off, take my saw, come right across here. I'll show you how to use the hand saw, although I do have an electric saw here that I could use. You just get wherever's most comfortable for you. Remember, this is a pig, not a big hog, so you ain't got a big old side of spare ribs. You got a small side of spare ribs. So there's your side of spare ribs. Right now, this is the loin. And what that means is, for most people, is pork chops. The loin is where you get your pork chops. Right now, I'm just trimming some of the fat off of this loin. Because although you want fat on your meat as you're cooking it, because that's where you get your flavor from, you don't need all of this because it's kind of thick. So I'm going to trim some of it off. Show you in just a minute to make some beautiful bone-in pork chops.
Is that for tomorrow too?
Can be. Gotta have something for supper tonight.
Ooh, tonight.
This right here is one of the most healthy oils that you can get. Is this omega-3s. Now other pigs, their lard is not as good, but if it's pasture raised, it's not bad for you. It's good for you. And that's any animal. Cow, hog, chicken, anything that eats grass produces a fat that is healthy. Anything that the fat is produced from grain is not as healthy. So keep that in mind.
You're just using your knife and just going along the edge, just little by little, trimming off the.
Right. Now I'm experienced at doing this, so.
I would not be.
But
I would take too much.
a lot of
meat.
people are not as comfortable. And like the film right here, just cut that more in half. You can see the little pork chops.
Look at the little pork
Not
chops.
that big off this
I bet they taste delicious.
pig.
Though. Cut them. Don't cut them thin.
No, pretty thick.
Ooh, I'd like to try some tonight.
What I'm doing right here, get my wife to come around here with the camera. Oh, let me turn. I can turn it right here. You can see the end of the rib bones, and so I'm just coming to the next rib bone and cutting it, which is giving me about an inch thick pork chop.
It's good for the grill.
Those are beautiful. I want you to look at the marbling.
Is that called a tomahawk?
Yeah, it's the same thing.
Same thing?
It's
Look
a
at
tomahawk chop.
that. Yeah.
And see, if you cut your pork chops, if it's too much fat, you just take your knife, trim a little bit off, as you like. Because of the way my son cut the hog in half, he didn't leave as much of the backbone. I wish I had my meat cleaver. But I don't take your meat cleaver.
On a meat cleaver here.
No. We got saws here. What you do is just take your little hand saw, crack the rib, finish, take the knife, finish cutting your pork chop. And so there is some main leeks pig pork chop. And so that will probably be supper tonight along with the rest of the loin.
We'll have, nothing really goes to waste, is if you miss a cut, you can throw it in there for sausage, right?
Right.
Now what could Jace have done differently here? Leave more meat?
No,
Oh,
what's nothing he could do different.
oh, okay.
When I was talking about the way he split it a while ago, all that did was, like on another half of the hog, there'll be more bone right here than on this one. And so I won't be able to cut through it with my knife as much. I'll have to use the saw a little more. It's not a problem. Took my little saw and I cut through the backbone about 1 inch thick. Now I'm going to just take my knife. And like I said, if you need to square it up to make the pork chop an even thickness. Most people first join on your fingers 1 inch, so that's a little over about 1.25 inches thick. So we like our pork chops thick. And you say, Eric, why do you like your pork chops thick? They stay moisture when you cook them. Now, remember, I could have left the tenderloin on here and it would have been right there. Been a little round circle of meat. The filet. Anyhow, this is down around his tail right here. And all I'm doing is just taking this bone out and trimming all this lean meat off the bone. I'm gonna grind it. Remember, you can make sausage or you can just have ground pork. So what I'm doing, I'm just cutting my pork up.
They don't have the meniscus layer, do they? Like your deer do.
No, the silver skin, they do, but it's right here. You can't see it much because of the fat. On a deer, there's no fat, so it's
very prominent.
It's very prominent, you know. So anyhow, right here, this is the other end of the loin for the pork chops. I'm just taking the bone out. Just run it right down along the edge. Take this and slice them into boneless pork chops. Saving my fat. Squaring up the chop where to cook evenly. I'll come back and go through this in a little bit. Now, could save that little bitty bit of rib right there. I probably will. Probably salt it down and smoke it. Then I can use it for cooking beans and soup, stuff like that. So anyway, here we got a little sausage meat. Got your pork chops cut up.
Tenderloin.
Got your side of ribs, got your little tenderloin,
All your fat.
got your front leg, and over here in the tub, you got the hind leg. And of
And
course,
this is your butt. This is your butt here.
this is your Boston butt. This is your hind leg over here,
Your hands over there.
and the bacon.
Okay.
And literally all I'll do I'll take a gallon Ziploc bag, just what is right here. I'll take my bacon. And I'll very lightly salt it on both sides. I'll put it in this bag, salted, not touching. And I'll let it stay in the refrigerator for about a week. And what that'll allow that to do, that will allow that bacon to cure. The salt will pull the moisture out of the meat, and it'll cause it to cure. After it take about a week to cure. Once it cures, then once the meat cures, then I will take it and smoke it. Have smoked bacon. You could do the same with your hams. Just going through here making sure. My friend that's let me use this place here, his mother wanted some cracklings. Couldn't grease down herself, so we'll take some of this fat. It's got a little lean on it. We'll chip it up. All for her. What you do is take your pot at your house and I like to just start it with just a very little oil on a real low temperature. And you take that oil on that real low temperature, you cook this, and it will just turn liquid. Any of these little meat pieces on here will turn into crispy little delights.
Save some for us. I want to try it.
We'll have plenty. We'll have plenty. And so anyhow, cut this up with my buddy's mama. He said she wouldn't want too much. So much you can do with this. Like I said, we'll grind this right here, but you could literally cut it up into pieces like this and make pork stew out of it. You can strip it up in little bitty tiny strips like this right here and make pork stir fry with it. Mix it with some onions, peppers. Like I said, stew, sausage, any muscle can be used for anything.
So this is the back end of the pig.
Right here.
Okay.
It's very difficult for you to see on camera, I'm sure of that. But right here, I'm going to try to expose it for you.
You can see the seam.
Yeah, we're right here. It's a bone right here. And it's called an H bone. And that is spelled A-I-T-C-H, if I'm not bad mistaken. H. It's a flat bone that lays right here. And what it is the intestinal tract to his rear end where the poop comes out. And when you put this together right here, his intestine runs out here like that. So anyway, you have to start, and I'll show it to you in just a minute. I'm just taking my knife and I'm just working around it. And
Come around you.
you can come over here, but there really ain't no way you can get where you can see where anything, because the way you have to take this thing out is basically I have to stand right up over the top of it. She's doing a good job there
Got it.
of video. And what it is, a ball, it's the hip joint, it's the ball and socket.
Which would probably be our iliac bone that hooks to our hip bone.
Yeah, but anyway, that too.
Yeah.
And like I said, there's a ball and socket right there. And you can see, right there I got my finger in the socket. And right there is the hip bone. And it's connected with a little piece of, I don't know what that would be called.
Tendon. That's a tendon.
Be a tendon, she says. Anyway, I'm going to pull this H bone out and show it to you. Right there it is. It's flat, and that's where the tendon connects to the socket. And that causes him to be able to move his legs. Just take all my any excess meat off of it and throw that bone. You think, I'm not going to throw this bone away. I'll salt it as well as that other bone over there. Or you can take these bones, put them in a pot, boil them down, and make stock, pork stock out of them. Say, Eric, what is pork stock good for? Rice. Makes yummy rice. What else is pork stock good for? It makes good dressing. What else is pork stock good for? It makes good okra and tomato soup. And so anyway, I'm continuing. You can tell it's getting close to lunch. I'm talking about food. All right. On this ham or hind leg, you got the hip bone, and it runs out to his kneecap right here, straight. And so if you cut straight down to that bone, I feel it with my knife, and I'm just beginning to expose that leg bone, and I'm gonna just cut all the way down past it to right here. And this right here is called the sirloin tip. Right here, it's called the top round.
If it was a cow, you should call it the same thing on a pig?
Yes,
Okay.
if it was a cow, it'd be the top round roast. And show you right here. But and there's another little muscle right here called the eye round. It's not as prominent to see on a smaller animal. You can really see where it connects if you was on a bigger animal. All right, I'll show them all to you in a minute. I think there's 5 muscles in the hind leg. There again, like I said, what I'm doing right here is I'm just taking the leg bone out of the ham. So coming all the way down with that leg bone runs down to his hock. So it's like his knee right there. I just cut through that joint. This connects to his foot, you know, to his hind leg.
I'm trying to stay over the table.
Back up from it. Yeah. And, but anyway, any lean meat on that bone, you can take it off, but I'm just be saving the bones and smoking them. All right, right here you got one more muscle. It's called the heel. I mean, you got 2 muscles, but I mean, it had one more muscle connected to another muscle. So I'm separating the heel from the bottom. All right, you got a heel of round, a bottom round, eye round, top round, and sirloin tip. All right, let me put it together for you. Show you. See there? The eye connects to the bottom. The heel is at the bottom of the bottom. The top is right on top. And the sirloin tip is on the other side of the bone. So you put the bone back in there, and that puts your ham back together. Remember, you take your sirloin tip off first, then I usually pull the bone out, then I take my top off, take my eye out, take my heel off. That leaves me with my bottom. And simply all I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna trim all this fat off these individual muscles.
Okay.
All right, all I'm gonna do now is trim this fat off these individual muscles down to where they just some lean, down to mostly lean meat. There again, we're saving our fat. What did I say you could do with this? You can make stew. This is a sirloin tip. You make stew, sausage, ground pork. Look at the marbling in that meat, though. Folks, I have a feeling it's going to be delicious.
Ah, we're going to try it tonight.
And tender. You know, marbling is the fat running through the middle of the muscle, which makes it more tender. So,
And y'all have seen where we've raised our pigs at. They're in a pen
on the ground.
on the ground.
Remember, it's very, very important to raise your pig on the dirt. Why is that important, Eric? Because as a pig roots and eats his food off the ground, he eats a lot of dirt.
Minerals in the dirt.
The minerals in the soil enhance the flavor of the meat. Say, Eric, how can something that smells like a hog pen be good? And my simple answer to that question, or that statement, is that's the way the Lord made it. So, nothing against Jewish people, but I am thankful that I'm not a Jew to the fact that they don't eat pork. So, I like pork. I like everything on a hog. You make so many things out of the hog. This right here would be a nice bit of sausage
Which we're going to grind
or ground pork.
and make some
What?
breakfast sausage for tomorrow because Kimmy's going to be here.
That is my daughter-in-law's mother. So, anyway, I'm trimming. That is a half a hog, right, or half a pig right there.
So
That's
now,
the foot.
right. So now we have
We got some soup bones or bones you can use for seasoning. Bacon. That's the bone for seasoning. Got the front shoulder or the Boston butt from the picnic that we're going to smoke whole. Some sausage. Got some grease, pork chops and ribs, and tenderloin. And that's half. And all we'll do is just repeat the same process on the other half of the pig. Only difference this time is we're going to save one of the hams whole to cook tomorrow also. Appreciate y'all watching. If you have any questions, you can leave them down in the comments. If there's anything I can do, say or help you, please let me know and I'll be glad to.
we'll have to show.
Remember, a simple life is a much more enjoyable life. God bless y'all. Thank you for watching Perry Hill Farm.